How does victimology explain John Wayne Gacy's victims? Imagine being a young person trying to find work or a safe place to stay, only to become a target of someone who seems trustworthy. That's part of what victimology looks at when studying cases like John Wayne Gacy. Victimology is the study of victims and how they relate to offenders and the justice system. It helps us understand why certain people become victims, especially in cases like Gacy's. Gacy's victims were mostly young males, many teenagers or young men. Most of them came from difficult social backgrounds, often with little family support or stability. Victimology shows us that people in vulnerable social situations are more likely to be targeted by predators. Gacy used his charm and friendliness to lure victims. He sometimes dressed as Pogo the Clown, a persona he created to entertain children and gain trust. This made him seem safe and harmless, which made it easier for him to approach his victims. He often promised work, money, or simply appeared kind and caring. Victimology points out that offenders tend to pick people who seem less likely to be missed or protected. Many of Gacy's victims were transient or from lower economic backgrounds. This meant their disappearances didn't immediately raise alarms or get quick attention from authorities. Victimology also looks at how victim behavior can increase risk. Some victims might have been hitchhiking or seeking employment, which put them in dangerous situations. Gacy's victims were often in places or situations where they were more accessible to him. Another important part of victimology is understanding what happens after someone is victimized. In Gacy's case, identifying his victims was hard because their remains were badly decomposed or hidden. It took years and advances in forensic science to match remains to missing persons. This shows how victimology connects with forensic work to give victims back their identities and help families find closure. So, victimology explains that Gacy's victims were mainly vulnerable young males, chosen because they were easy to access and less protected by society. It shows us how offenders exploit social vulnerabilities and risky circumstances. Knowing this helps law enforcement and criminologists develop better ways to prevent similar crimes and support victims.